You know, we've been talking for a while. I remember there was a big head scratcher when we found out that there was going to be a Weird Al Yankovic biopic, and it was going to be starring Daniel Radcliffe, who is roughly 4 feet shorter than Al. So that was an interesting choice right off the bat. And so, you know, thinking, and I'm a huge Weird Al fan. You guys all know that. I had a chance to meet him just recently. I love Weird Al. Been a big fan my whole life. So that's interesting, but I thought it was going to be a biopic. I thought it'd be funny, but I thought it was going to be a biopic. And then we saw the trailer, and it was more walk hard than walk the line, which was a little bit surprising. So clearly it was spoofing itself, this entire thing. I'm like, all right, how's that going to be? Rainn Wilson came in as Dr. Demento. All right, how's this going to be? Now, listen, I went to go see the U.S. premiere of Weird, the Al Yankovic Story last night, and I went in with great trepidation because I recently saw Easter Sunday, which is the movie, almost kind of biographical movie of my favorite comedian in the world, Joe Coy. My favorite comedian in the world. And so I was so excited to go see this comedy. And right now, I think it might be the worst movie of the year. Really let me down. So I went in to go see Weird, the Al Yankovic Story last night with great trepidation. It's the funniest film of the year. Anne was in tears sitting beside me. And I love the way Rolling Stone puts it. Weird, you're not ready for the glory that is this Weird Al biopic. It's absolutely true. I could not believe how insanely funny this movie is and smart. It's smart. It's constant setup, callback, setup, callback. Like, you know, a lot of times in these types of comedies and movies, there'll be one big callback joke, right? Something gets set up earlier in the movie. They think it's kind of like a nothing thing. And then later in the movie, there's a big callback to it and whatever. But there's several of those in this movie. Daniel Radcliffe is awesome in this. Absolutely phenomenal. He owns this thing. Now, Weird Al does all the singing. So Daniel Radcliffe just does all, but Daniel Radcliffe spent months studying accordion. He spent months studying accordion just so he could look as close as possible, as if he was playing, even though he was doing the lip syncing. And apparently they were saying, the shot is great. By the way, the two guys in the background, Weird Al's roommates, almost steal this movie. But Rainn Wilson nearly steals this movie. Who is it that plays Evan Rachel Wood?
Mm-hmm. Who plays Madonna?
She almost steals this movie. The roommates steal this movie. He steals this movie. Oh my God, she's... Madonna,
she can sing.
Madonna in this movie is one of the greatest. I put her up there with Hannibal Lecter and Darth Vader as one of the greatest film villains of all time. It's absolutely hilarious. Now listen, you get into the third act of the film and there's definitely some UHF moments. If any of you guys watched UHF. Yeah.
Spatula City.
Spatula City, Wheel of Fish. So it gets a little bit into that, but that just gave it a little bit of a Weird Al, thing. And who's the actor who plays MacGruber?
Will Forte.
Forte, yeah.
He's got a role in this.
Yay!
And he nearly steals it when he's on screen. I mean, everybody in this movie is so funny. It's completely satire, right? But oh my God, if you could tell from the trailer, and here's the thing. So at the premiere last night, there was a Q&A afterwards. Weird Al's on tour. So Weird Al was there. His wife was there, but the director and Rainn Wilson were there, and they were doing a Q&A. They shot the film. Guess how long they shot how long it took them to shoot this movie?
22 days.
18 days.
You lose,
They
Bob.
shot the movie in 18 days.
So was it 3 6-day weeks?
I have no idea. No idea.
Well,
why didn't you ask your best friend?
Yeah, I'll give Al a call. See what he
Yeah.
has to say. But they shot it in 18 days, and here's the thing. The day before, Rainn Wilson wasn't supposed to play Dr. Demento. Patton Oswalt was.
Oh, Dip. That would have been fun, too.
And the day before, he broke his foot. And they literally, the director and the guys from Funny or Die, apparently they already knew Rainn, and Rainn's a huge Weird Al fan, and they got him on the phone like the day before. They said, we literally talked to him on the phone. The next day, he's on set shooting as Dr. Demento.
Was this a Funny or Die production too?
It's listed as a Funny or Die production.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow, okay. So
it's Roku and Funny. And Rainn Wilson during the Q&A is like, what is a Roku, by the way? Who is Roku? Who's making this thing? It was
I mean, are they going to release this theatrically?
They were talking about that last night. Now, the plan is not to release it theatrically. The plan is just to release it on Roku next month. But I mean, the director, the moderator, they're all saying this movie, because I'll tell you what, this was a great example of why movie theaters are always better experiences than at home. Watching this movie with an audience last night.
It's probably sold out too.
It was packed. It was absolutely packed. Watching this movie with an audience was a totally different level of an experience. It was so much fun. And they were talking about that after the movie as well. It's like this is gonna be fine sitting at home to watch it. It's gonna be really good. But watching it with 500 other people, like packed into a room together and laughing and singing along with the songs and all this kind of stuff. And I just can't get over how good Daniel Radcliffe was in this. And his parents, but yeah, his parents almost steal the movie. Like everything about this movie absolutely works. Again, this is me coming off of seeing my favorite comedian put out the worst film of the year to come out to see another one of my favorite celebs thankfully put out, honestly, one of my favorite movie going experiences of the year. This movie is so funny. All the hype you heard coming out of Toronto, totally justified. By the way, I'm going to spoil one thing that's a post credit, but it's not a scene, it's a picture. So they have, as the credits are rolling, pictures from Weird Al's life. But you could tell some of them aren't real. Some of them are photoshopped, right? So they have this one picture that makes it look like Queen Elizabeth has Weird Al in a headlock. The funny thing is, this movie premiered on the day Queen Elizabeth died. It premiered at the Toronto Film Festival on the day she died. So the director's saying, me and Al are behind the curtain in the theater in Toronto at the Toronto Film Festival, just watching the audience because we knew the picture was about to come out. And the picture, like every picture's come up and the audience is laughing. And then the Queen Elizabeth picture comes up and everybody laughs, but he goes, they only laughed for about a second. And then they went, oh. It goes like, it's like the day Queen Elizabeth died. But guys, I cannot recommend Weird, the Al Yankovic Story enough. It's a truly, truly funny film. In a year that we really need some really good comedy, and this movie is it. Check it out. If you don't have a Roku, go buy one of the $40 Rokus or whatever. Just be ready to watch this thing when it comes out. It's fantastic. All right, guys, question is for you. Have you been looking forward to Weird? Maybe you haven't even seen the trailers yet. Maybe you're dying to see it. Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of this video, MeUndies. Now, guys, I admit for all my life, I have been a low quality underwear wearing kind of guy. I always just got the cheapest pack of underwear I could find because I never really thought about it. Well, that all changed when I started wearing MeUndies. They are simply the softest and most comfortable underwear I have ever owned, and I will never go back. And guys, spooky season is here, and so is the latest Halloween collection by MeUndies. Warning though, it's scary soft. MeUndies is back with a new limited edition prints like Jack Attack, No Body Like You, and Spell It Out. So go on and grab undies, socks, bralettes, and more made from their feels like you have nothing on micromodal fabric. And if you need a last-minute costume, be lazy and transform into a spooky skeleton with their loungewear set, Lazy Bones. Guys, the scary soft hype is real. If you're not impressed with MeUndies, your first pair is on us. That's a promise. To get 20% off your first order and free standard shipping on US orders, go to MeUndies.com/Campea. That's MeUndies.com/Campea.